The rain hit the windshield like angry stones. Sarah Mitchell gripped the steering wheel tighter as her old car shook in the wind. The storm had come out of nowhere, turning the mountain highway into a dangerous river of water. "Mommy, I'm scared," whispered 5-year-old Lily from the back seat. Her small voice was barely heard over the thunder. "It's okay, baby," Sarah said, trying to sound calm. But her heart was racing. The car was making strange noises, and she could see steam coming from under the hood. 8-year-old Emma held her little sister's hand. "Don't worry, Lily. Mommy will take care of us." Sarah wished she felt as confident as her older daughter sounded. The truth was, she had no idea what she would do if the car broke down. She had exactly $37 in her purse and no credit cards that worked. The job interview in Pine Ridge was her last hope to find work before they lost. Their apartment. The car started to shake harder. Sarah pressed the gas pedal, but nothing happened. The engine made a terrible grinding sound, then stopped completely. The car rolled to a stop on the side of the empty road. "Why did we stop, Mommy?" Lily asked. Sarah turned the key again, but the engine was dead. She put her head on the steering wheel and tried not to cry. Her husband had died 8 months ago, leaving her with nothing but debt and 2 little girls to take care of. She had sold almost everything they owned, but it still wasn't enough. "Mommy?" Emma's voice was worried now. "The car is broken, sweetheart," Sarah said. She looked at her phone. No signal. They were in the middle of nowhere, and the storm was getting worse. Lightning flashed across the sky, followed by a loud crack of thunder. Lily started to cry. Sarah unbuckled her seatbelt and climbed into the back seat to hold both her daughters. "It's going to be okay," she whispered. Even though she didn't believe it herself, they sat in the dark car for what felt like hours. Rain was so heavy Sarah couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. She tried to think of a plan, but her mind felt empty. She was tired, scared, and running out of hope. Then she saw lights through the rain. A truck was coming down the road, moving slowly through the storm. Sarah's heart jumped. Maybe someone would help them. The truck slowed down as it passed their car, then stopped. Sarah could see it was a big pickup truck, the kind that could handle rough roads. The driver's door opened and a man got out. He was tall and wore a cowboy hat that kept the rain off his face. He walked over to their car and tapped on the window. Sarah rolled it down a little. "You folks having trouble?" he asked. His voice was deep and kind. "Our car broke down," Sarah said. "I think the engine is dead." The man nodded. "I'm Jake Harrison. Let me take a look under the hood." Sarah watched through the rain as Jake opened the hood of her car. He had a flashlight and knew what he was doing. After a few minutes, he came back to the window. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but this car isn't going anywhere tonight," he said. "Looks like the engine overheated and cracked. It would cost more to fix than the car is worth." Sarah felt tears starting to fall. What am I going to do? I have my 2 daughters and we have nowhere to go. Jake looked at the little girls in the back seat. Emma was trying to be brave, but Lily was crying again. His heart went out to them. He had a son of his own and knew how scary this must be. "For the children, there's a storm warning out," Jake said. "These mountain roads get dangerous fast when it rains like this. You can't stay here." "I don't have money for a hotel," Sarah said quietly. Feeling ashamed, Jake was quiet for a moment. He looked at the scared family in the broken car and made a decision. "You're coming with me," he said. Sarah's eyes widened. "What?" "I have a ranch about 10 miles from here. You and your girls can stay there until the storm passes and we figure out what to do about your car." Sarah didn't know what to say. She had always been taught not to trust strangers, especially men. But what choice did she have? They couldn't stay in the car all night in this storm. "I don't know," she said. "I don't even know you." Jake understood her fear. If he had a wife and daughters, he would want them to be careful too. "I know it's scary to trust a stranger," he said. "But I have a 10-year-old son at home." "I wouldn't offer if I didn't mean to help," Emma spoke up from the back seat. "Mommy, I'm cold and hungry." That decided it for Sarah. Her children needed shelter and food. She had to trust this man. "Okay," she said. "Thank you," Jake smiled. Let me help you get your things. They quickly gathered their few belongings from the car. Jake gave Sarah his jacket to keep her dry as they ran to his truck. He helped the girls into the back seat and made sure they were buckled in safely. "What's your name?" Jake asked as he started the truck. "Sarah Mitchell," she replied. "These are my daughters, Emma and Lily." "Nice to meet you, Emma and Lily," Jake said, turning to smile at the girls. "I'm Jake, and I have a son named Tommy who's about your age, Emma. He's probably wondering where I am." As they drove through the storm, Jake told them about his ranch. He raised cattle and horses and had been coming back from town when he saw their car. "Do you have real horses?" Lily asked, her tears forgotten. "Sure do," Jake said. "Maybe tomorrow you can see them if your mom says it's okay." Sarah watched Jake as he drove. He seemed kind and patient with her daughters. His truck was clean and well-maintained. He wore a wedding ring, which made her feel a little safer. "Are you married?" she asked. Jake's face grew sad. "I was. My wife died 3 years ago. It's just me and Tommy now. I'm sorry," Sarah said. "My husband died 8 months ago." They understood each other's pain without needing to say more. The truck turned onto a dirt road that led to a house with lights in the windows. Even through the rain, Sarah could see it was a nice place. Not fancy, but well-kept and welcoming. "Here we are," Jake said. "Home." As they ran from the truck to the house, Sarah felt something she hadn't felt in months. She felt safe. This stranger had appeared like an angel in the storm and offered them shelter. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for tonight, her daughters would be warm and dry. Jake opened the door to his home and called out, "Tommy, we have company." A boy with sandy hair and his father's kind eyes appeared in the doorway. He looked curiously at the 3 wet strangers his father had brought home. "This is Mrs. Mitchell and her daughters, Emma and Lily," Jake said. "They're going to stay with us tonight." Tommy smiled shyly. "Hi," he said. As Sarah and her daughters stepped into the warm house, she said a silent prayer of thanks. Maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. Jake's house was warm and welcoming. Sarah looked around as she helped her daughters take off their wet coats. The living room had a stone fireplace with a fire crackling inside. Comfortable furniture was arranged around the room, and family photos sat on the mantel. "Let me get you some towels," Jake said. Disappearing down a hallway, Tommy stood near the fireplace, still staring at the visitors. He was about Emma's age, with his father's brown eyes and a friendly face. "Are you really staying here?" Tommy asked Emma. "Just for tonight," Emma replied. "Our car broke down." "That's too bad," Tommy said. "But it's kind of exciting to have kids here. It gets lonely sometimes." Jake returned with fluffy towels and handed them to Sarah. "Here, get yourselves dried off. I'll make some hot chocolate." "You don't have to do that," Sarah said. "You've already done so much. It's no trouble," Jake said. Tommy loves hot chocolate. "Don't you, son?" Tommy nodded eagerly. "With marshmallows." Lily clapped her hands. "I love marshmallows." Jake smiled at her enthusiasm. "Then marshmallows it is." Sarah helped her daughters dry their hair while Jake went to the kitchen. She could hear him moving around, opening cabinets and running water. The house smelled like wood smoke and something that reminded her of home-cooked meals. "Your house is really nice," Emma said to Tommy. "Thanks," Tommy said. "My dad and I fixed it up ourselves." "Do you want to see my room?" "Can I, Mommy?" Emma asked. Sarah looked toward the kitchen where Jake was working. "I guess it's okay, but don't touch anything." The children disappeared upstairs, and Sarah could hear their voices and footsteps above. It was good to hear her daughters laughing again. They had been so sad since their father died. Jake returned with a tray of steaming mugs topped with marshmallows. "Where did the kids go?" "Tommy is showing Emma his room," Sarah said. "I hope that's okay." "Of course," Jake said. "It's nice for Tommy to have someone to play with. He doesn't get many visitors out here." Sarah took a sip of the hot chocolate. It was perfect, sweet and warm, and exactly what she needed. "This is delicious. Thank you." Jake sat down in the chair across from her. "So what brings you to Pine Ridge?" Sarah told him about the job interview she had been driving to. "I was supposed to be there first thing in the morning. It was for a waitress job at a diner." "Well, the storm will probably delay a lot of things tomorrow," Jake said. You can call them when the phone lines are working again. I don't know if they'll still want to hire me, Sarah said sadly. I really needed that job. Jake could hear the worry in her voice. What kind of work did you do before? I was a secretary. At a law office, Sarah said. But they had to let me go when business got slow. Since then, I've been looking for anything I can find. That must be hard, Jake said. Especially with 2 little girls to take care of. Sarah nodded. My husband left us in debt when he died. I had to sell our house and most of our things. We've been living in a tiny apartment, but I can't afford the rent much longer. Jake didn't say anything for a moment. He was thinking about how scared Sarah must be, trying to take care of her children with no money and no job. He remembered how lost he had felt when his wife died, but at least he had the ranch to provide for Tommy. I'm sorry, Sarah said. I shouldn't be telling you all this. You're a stranger who was kind enough to help us, and here I'm complaining about my problems. You're not complaining, Jake said. You're dealing with a lot, and we're not strangers anymore. We're neighbors helping neighbors. The children came running down the stairs, chattering excitedly. Mom, Tommy has a tree house, Emma said. He said maybe we can see it tomorrow if it stops raining. And he has a horse named Buddy, Lily added. A real horse. Tommy was grinning. Can they stay longer than one night, Dad, please? Jake looked at Sarah. We'll see what tomorrow brings. He said, right now, let's get everyone fed. Oh, I don't want to be any trouble, Sarah said quickly. The hot chocolate is enough. Nonsense, Jake said. I was about to make dinner anyway. I hope you like spaghetti. We love spaghetti, Lily said. Jake laughed. Then spaghetti it is. Sarah followed Jake to the kitchen, wanting to help. The kitchen was clean and organized, with dishes neatly stacked and everything in its place. She was impressed by how well Jake kept house. You're very organized, she said. I had to learn, Jake said. When my wife died, I didn't know how to do anything. I burned more meals than I cooked at first. Tommy ate a lot of cereal for dinner. How long ago did she die? Sarah asked gently. 3 years, Jake said. Car accident on a rainy night, a lot like tonight. She was coming home from town when she hit a patch of ice. I'm so sorry, Sarah said. That must have been terrible. It was, Jake said. But Tommy and I figured out how to take care of each other. We're doing okay now. Sarah could see that they were more than okay. The house was filled with love and warmth. Tommy was a happy, well-adjusted boy, and Jake was clearly a good father. Let me help with dinner, Sarah said. It's the least I can do. Jake handed her a wooden spoon. Can you stir the sauce? They worked together in the kitchen, and Sarah was surprised by how natural it felt. Jake was easy to talk to, and he seemed to understand what she was going through. When she mentioned missing her husband, he nodded knowingly. When she worried about her daughters, he shared his own fears about raising Tommy alone. It's hard being the only parent, Jake said. You worry about everything. Am I doing enough? Am I doing it right? Are they happy? Yes, Sarah said, all the time. Sometimes I feel like I'm failing them. You're not failing them, Jake said firmly. I can see how much they love you, and they're good kids. Emma is so responsible, and Lily is full of joy. That comes from having a good mother. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. She hadn't heard encouraging words in so long. Thank you for saying that. The children set the table while Jake and Sarah finished cooking. The dining room had a big wooden table that could seat 6 people. Jake lit some candles, and the room felt cozy and warm. This is fancy, Emma said. Not too fancy, Jake said. Just nice enough for our guests. Dinner was delicious. Jake had made garlic bread to go with the spaghetti, and there was a salad with vegetables from his garden. The children talked and laughed, and Sarah felt more relaxed than she had in months. This is the best dinner ever, Lily announced. Better than Mom's cooking? Emma teased. Emma, Sarah said, but she was smiling. I'm sure your mom is a great cook, Jake said. But everything tastes better when you're with friends. After dinner, they all helped clean up. Jake washed dishes while Sarah dried them. The children played in the living room, and Sarah could hear them building something with blocks. "They're getting along well," Jake observed. "Tommy is a sweet boy," Sarah said. "You've done a good job raising him?" "Thanks," Jake said. "It helps that he's naturally good-natured. Emma seems like she has an old soul." "She's had to grow up fast," Sarah said. "Since her father died, she's tried to take care of me and Lily. I worry that she's missing out on being a kid." "Tonight she's just being a kid," Jake said. "Listen to her laughing." Sarah smiled. He was right. Emma sounded carefree and happy. For the first time in months, when the dishes were done, they joined the children in the living room. Jake built up the fire while Sarah helped Lily with a puzzle. Emma and Tommy were reading a book together. "Are you tired?" Jake asked the girls. Little," Emma said. "I have a guest room where you can sleep," Jake said. "It has 2 beds, so you and your sister can each have your own. Can we see it?" Lily asked. Jake led them upstairs and showed them the guest room. It was clean and comfortable, with quilts on the beds and a window that looked out over the ranch. "It's beautiful," Sarah said. "I'll get you some pajamas for the girls," Jake said. "Tommy has some that might fit." As Jake helped get the children ready for bed, Sarah felt a strange mix of emotions. She was grateful for his kindness, but also nervous about accepting so much help from a stranger. She didn't want to take advantage of his generosity. When the girls were tucked into bed, Jake and Sarah went back downstairs. The house was quiet except for the rain still falling outside. "Thank you," Sarah said, "for everything. I don't know what we would have done without you." "You don't need to thank me," Jake said. "I'm glad I could help." "Still, I want you to know how much this means to us," Sarah said. "The girls haven't been this happy since their father died." Jake looked at the fire. "Tommy hasn't been this excited in a long time either. He loves having other kids around." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, both thinking about their children and the unexpected turn their evening had taken. "I should probably go to bed," Sarah said finally. "Tomorrow I need to figure out what to do about the car and call about the job." "Don't worry about tomorrow tonight," Jake said. "Things have a way of working out." As Sarah went upstairs, she hoped. Jake was right. Her daughters were safe and warm, and for the first time in months, she felt like maybe everything would be okay. Sarah woke up to the sound of children laughing outside. Sunlight was streaming through the window, and she could smell bacon cooking downstairs. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered the storm, the broken car, and Jake's kindness. She looked at the clock on the knitstand. It was already 8 in the morning. She had slept better than she had in months. Lily was still sleeping in the bed next to hers, but Emma's bed was empty. Sarah got dressed quickly and went downstairs. In the kitchen, she found Jake making breakfast while Emma, Lily, and Tommy sat at the table eating pancakes. "Good morning," Jake said with a smile. "I hope you slept well." "I did, thank you," Sarah said. "I can't remember the last time I slept so soundly." "That's because you felt safe," Emma said wisely. "Right, Mom?" Sarah was surprised by her daughter's insight. "Yes, sweetheart, I think you're right." Jake poured Sarah a cup of coffee. "The storm passed during the night. I went out early to check on the animals in your car. I'm sorry, but it's definitely not going to run again." Sarah's heart sank. "I was afraid of that. I don't know what I'm going to do." "Well, I called my friend who owns the garage in town," Jake said. "He can tow it away for you. As for getting around, we'll figure something out." "I also called the diner about your job interview," Jake continued. "They said they understand about the storm and want to reschedule for tomorrow if you're still interested." Sarah felt a wave of relief. "Thank you so much. I don't know how to repay you for all this." "You don't need to repay me," Jake said. "Just let me help." After breakfast, Jake showed Sarah and her daughters around the ranch. The morning was bright and clear, with puddles from the rain reflecting the blue sky. The girls were excited to see the horses and cattle. "This is Buddy," Jake said, introducing them to a gentle brown horse. "He's Tommy's favorite." Lily reached out to pet the horse's nose. "He's so soft. Can I ride him?" Emma asked. "Maybe later," Jake said. First, let's see how you do with the smaller animals." They visited the chickens, and Jake let the girls collect eggs. He showed them the vegetable garden where tomatoes and peppers grew in neat rows. Sarah watched her daughters' faces light up with wonder and joy. "I never knew farms were so interesting," Emma said. "It's not really a farm," Tommy explained. "It's a ranch. We raise cattle and horses. What's the difference?" Lily asked. Jake laughed. "Good question. A farm grows crops like corn and wheat. A ranch raises animals." As they walked back to the house, Sarah noticed how naturally Jake included her daughters in everything. He was patient with their questions and made them feel important. Tommy was like a big brother, showing them around and teaching them about ranch life. "Your place is beautiful," Sarah told Jake when they had a moment alone. "Thanks," Jake said. "My wife and I bought it right after we got married. We had big plans for it." "What kind of plans?" Sarah asked. "We wanted to expand the cattle operation, maybe add more horses," Jake said. "And we wanted to fill the house with children." Sarah heard the sadness in his voice. "I'm sorry that didn't work out. Life doesn't always go the way we plan," Jake said. "But we make the best of what we have." That afternoon, while the children played in the yard, Sarah helped Jake with lunch. She found herself falling into the rhythm of his kitchen, knowing where things were and how he liked things done. "You're good at this," Jake said, watching her make sandwiches. "I like cooking," Sarah said. "I used to make big meals for my family. Before everything changed." "What was your husband like?" Jake asked gently. Sarah was quiet for a moment. "He was a good man, but he wasn't good with money. He always thought the next business idea would make us rich. Instead, he just kept borrowing more and more." "That must have been stressful," Jake sighed. "It was," Sarah admitted. "I loved him, but I was always worried about bills and debt. When he died, I thought the stress would end. Instead, it got worse." Jake nodded. "Financial problems can destroy a family even when everyone loves each other." "Did you and your wife have money troubles?" Sarah asked. "Sometimes," Jake said. "Ranching is hard work, and some years are better than others, but we always figured it out together." Sarah felt a pang of sadness. She had never had that kind of partnership with her husband. She had always been the one trying to hold everything together. After lunch, Jake asked if Sarah wanted to see more of the ranch. They walked through the pastures where cattle grazed peacefully. Jake explained how he managed the land and took care of the animals. "It's a lot of work," Sarah said. "It is," Jake agreed. "But it's good work, honest work. And it's a good place to raise a child." Sarah could see that. The ranch was peaceful and safe, far from the noise and danger of the city. "Children could run and play freely here. Tommy seems very happy," she said. "He is," Jake said. "But I worry sometimes that he's lonely. There aren't many kids around here, and he spends a lot of time with just adults." "He's been wonderful with Emma and Lily," Sarah said. "He's going to make a great big brother someday." Jake looked at her with an expression she couldn't read. "Yeah, maybe he will." That evening, Jake grilled hamburgers for dinner. Sarah made a salad and baked beans. The children played games while the adults cooked and talked. "This feels like a real family dinner," Emma said as they sat down to eat. "It does," Tommy agreed. "I wish you could stay longer." "We can't stay forever," Sarah said gently. "Jake has his own life, and we have to figure out ours." "But where will you go?" Lily asked. "We don't have a car." Sarah didn't know how to answer that. She had been trying not to think about it all day. "Let's not worry about that tonight," Jake said. "Sometimes the best thing to do is take life one day at a time." After dinner, they all sat in the living room again. Jake played guitar while the children sang songs. Sarah watched her daughters having fun and felt her heart breaking. They were so happy here, happier than they had been anywhere since their father died. "You play beautifully," Sarah said when Jake finished a song. "My wife taught me," Jake said. "She said music makes a house feel like home." "She was right," Sarah said later after the children were in bed. Sarah and Jake sat by the fire again. "I've been thinking about your situation," Jake said. I have an idea that might help. What kind of idea? Sarah asked. I need someone to help me with the ranch, Jake said. Someone to keep the books, handle the paperwork, maybe help with the house. The job would come with a place to live. Sarah stared at him. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a chance to stay, Jake said, if you want it. I don't know anything about ranching, Sarah said. You don't need to, Jake said. You know about office work and you're good with people. That's what I need. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. Why would you do this for us? Jake was quiet for a long moment. Because I like having you here, he said finally. All of you. The house feels alive again. What about the job at the diner? Sarah asked. That's minimum wage and no benefits, Jake said. This would be better. A real salary, health insurance, and a safe place for your girls to grow up. Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. You barely know us. I know enough, Jake said. I know you're a good mother and a hard worker. I know your daughters are. Sweet kids who deserve a chance at a good life. What would people think? Sarah asked. A single woman living on your ranch? People will think what they want to think, Jake said. But most folks around here mind their own business. And there's a small apartment above the barn that you could live in if you wanted privacy. Sarah felt overwhelmed. It was such a generous offer, but it also scared her. She had learned to be independent, to not rely on anyone else. I need time to think about it, she said. Of course, Jake said. Take all the time you need. But Sarah, yes? Don't let pride keep you from doing what's best for your daughters. That night, Sarah lay in bed thinking about Jake's offer. She looked at her sleeping daughters and tried to imagine what their lives could be like here. They could have their own rooms, a yard to play in, animals to care for. They could grow up knowing what it felt like to be secure and loved. But what did Jake really want from her? Was this just charity, or was he hoping for something more? She wasn't ready for romance. She wasn't sure she ever would be. Still, she had to admit that Jake was different from any man she had ever known. He was kind and patient and strong. He made her feel safe in a way she had never felt before as she drifted off to sleep. Sarah found herself hoping that Jake's offer was real. Maybe, just maybe, she had found a place where she and her daughters could finally belong. Sarah woke up to the sound of Tommy's laughter outside her window. She had been at the ranch for 5 days now, and each morning brought new surprises. Today, she could hear him teaching Emma how to whistle to call the horses. She dressed quickly and went downstairs. Jake was already in the kitchen, making coffee and packing lunches. Good morning, he said with a smile. Ready for another day? I think so, Sarah said. She had been helping Jake with the ranch work, learning how to keep records and handle the business side of things. It felt good to be useful again. I have to go into town today to pick up some supplies, Jake said. Want to come with me? The girls might enjoy seeing the town. Sarah nodded. She had been thinking about his job offer every day, but she still hadn't given him an answer. She kept waiting for him to pressure her or show his true intentions, but he never did. He just treated her like a valued friend and helper. The town of Pine Ridge was small and friendly. People waved at Jake as they drove down Main Street, and several of them looked curiously at Sarah and her daughters. Everyone knows everyone here, Jake explained. It's that kind of place. They stopped at the feed store first. The owner, an older man named Ben, greeted Jake warmly. Who's this, Jake? Ben asked, looking at Sarah with interest. This is Sarah Mitchell and her daughters, Jake said. They're staying at the ranch for a while? Ben smiled and shook Sarah's hand. Welcome to Pine Ridge. Jake's a good man. You couldn't be in better hands. Sarah felt her cheeks turn red. She wondered what Ben was thinking about her living at Jake's ranch. At the grocery store. More people said hello to Jake and looked at Sarah with curious but friendly faces. A woman named Mrs. Henderson stopped to talk. Are you the lady whose car broke down in the storm? She asked. Yes, that's me, Sarah said. What a blessing that Jake found you, Mrs. Henderson said. He's been alone too long. It's good to see him happy again. After she walked away, Sarah looked at Jake. Do people think we're together? Does it matter what they think? Jake asked. I guess not, Sarah said. But I don't want to cause problems for you. You're not causing problems, Jake said. You're helping me more than you know. That afternoon, Jake took Sarah and the children to see the apartment above the barn. It was small but clean, with a kitchen, living room, and 2 bedrooms. I built this for my ranch foreman, Jake explained. But I've been managing everything myself since he retired. It's perfect, Sarah said. She could imagine living here with her daughters, having their own space while still being close to Jake and Tommy. So what do you think? Jake asked. About the job offer? Sarah took a deep breath. I think I'd like to try it, if you're sure. Jake's face lit up. I'm sure. More sure than I've been about anything in a long time. The children were excited when they heard the news. Emma and Lily ran around the apartment, claiming bedrooms and planning how to decorate them. Tommy was thrilled that his new friends would be staying. This is the best news ever, he said, hugging his father. That evening, Jake grilled steaks to celebrate. Sarah made her famous apple pie, and they had a proper feast. The children talked excitedly about their plans for the future. Can we get a dog? Lily asked. We already have farm cats, Jake said. But maybe we can think about a dog. Can I learn to ride horses? Emma asked. Absolutely, Jake said. Tommy can teach you. After dinner, while the children played, Sarah and Jake sat on the porch watching the sunset. The ranch was peaceful in the evening light, and Sarah felt more content than she had in years. I want to be clear about something, Jake said suddenly. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. Here it comes, she thought, the catch. I'm not offering you this job because I expect anything from you, Jake continued. I mean anything romantic. I want you to feel safe here, and I want you to know that you can trust me. Sarah was surprised by his honesty. I appreciate that, she said. I'm not ready for that kind of relationship. I understand, Jake said. I'm not either, really. But I like having you here, all of you. You make this place feel like home again. What if it doesn't work out? Sarah asked. What if I'm not good at ranch work? You're already good at it, Jake said. You organized my office in 2 days. You figured out my bookkeeping system faster than I did. And you're wonderful with the animals. Sarah smiled. I do like the animals, even the chickens. The chickens like you too, Jake said. They're laying more eggs since you started taking care of them. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the stars come out. Sarah felt peaceful and safe, but also nervous about the future. Jake, she said finally, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you ever think about getting married again? She asked. Jake was quiet for a long moment. Sometimes, he said. But it would have to be with the right person. Someone who understood this life and loved Tommy like her own child. That's a lot to ask, Sarah said. Maybe, Jake said. But I won't settle for less. Tommy deserves better than that. Sarah understood. She felt the same way about her daughters. Any man in her life would have to love Emma and Lily completely. What about you? Jake asked. Do you think you'll marry again? I don't know, Sarah said honestly. My marriage wasn't what I hoped it would be. I'm not sure I trust my judgment anymore. What do you mean? Jake asked gently. Sarah sighed. I thought I was marrying a man who would take care of us. Instead, I spent most of my marriage worrying about money and trying to fix his mistakes. That must have been lonely, Jake said. It was, Sarah admitted. I felt like I was raising 3 children instead of 2, Jake nodded. A good marriage should make life easier, not harder. Is that how it was with your wife? Sarah asked. Yes, Jake said. We were partners in everything. We made decisions together, and we took care of each other. Sarah felt a pang of envy. She had never had that kind of partnership. The next few weeks passed quickly. Sarah moved into the apartment with her daughters and settled into her new job. She handled Jake's paperwork, managed his appointments, and helped with the ranch books. She also cooked dinner for everyone most nights and helped with the children. It felt natural and right, like they were meant to be there. The children were thriving. Emma was learning to ride horses and helping with the farm chores. Lily was making friends with the barn cats and collecting eggs every morning. Tommy was happier than Jake had seen him in years, but Sarah noticed that people in town were starting to talk. When she went to the grocery store, women would stop talking when she walked by. She heard whispers about that woman living at Jake's place. One day, Mrs. Henderson approached her directly. "I hope you don't mind me asking," she said, "but are you and Jake planning to get married?" Sarah felt her face turn red. "We're just, friends," she said. "I work for him." Mrs. Henderson looked skeptical. "It's just that people are talking, dear. It doesn't look right, a single woman living on a man's ranch." That evening, Sarah told Jake about the conversation. "I'm sorry," she said. "I don't want to cause problems for you in town." Jake frowned. "You're not causing problems. People need to mind their own business." "But maybe they have a point," Sarah said. "Maybe this arrangement isn't appropriate." "What are you saying?" Jake asked. "Maybe I should look for another job," Sarah said. "Find an apartment in town?" Jake looked upset. "Is that what you want?" "No," Sarah said quietly. "But I don't want people talking about you, or about us." Jake sat down beside her on the couch. "Sarah, I need to tell you something." She looked at him nervously. "I've been thinking about us," he said. "About our situation. And I have an idea." "What kind of idea?" Sarah asked. Jake took a deep breath. "I think we should get married." Sarah stared at him in shock. "What?" "Not a real marriage," Jake said quickly. "I mean, it would be legal, but it would be for practical reasons. To protect both of us and give the children stability." "I don't understand," Sarah said. "Think about it," Jake said. "If we were married, people would stop talking. The children would have both a mother and a father, and we could continue living and working together without anyone questioning it." Sarah felt her heart racing. "But we don't love each other, don't we?" Jake asked quietly. Sarah looked at him, really looked at him. She thought about how safe she felt with him, how much she enjoyed their conversations, how natural it felt to work beside him every day. She thought about how he treated her daughters and how kind he was to everyone. "I care about you," she said slowly, "but love, that's different." "Maybe love grows over time," Jake said. "Maybe it starts with respect and friendship and caring." "What if it doesn't work?" Sarah asked. "What if we end up hurting each other?" "What if we don't?" Jake countered. "What if we build something good together?" Sarah was quiet for a long moment. The idea scared her, but it also made sense. They worked well together. The children were happy. And she did trust Jake in a way she had never trusted anyone before. "Can I think about it?" she asked. "Of course," Jake said. "Take all the time you need." That night, Sarah lay in bed thinking about Jake's proposal. It wasn't romantic, but maybe that was better. Romance had led her astray before. This would be a partnership based on mutual respect and shared goals. She thought about her daughters and how happy they were here. She thought about Tommy and how much she had grown to love him. She thought about Jake and how he made her feel safe and valued. The morning of the wedding dawned clear and bright. Sarah stood at the window of her apartment, watching the sunrise paint the sky pink and gold. In 2 hours, she would become Mrs. Jake Harrison. The thought still made her nervous, but it also filled her with hope. "Mommy, you look beautiful," Emma said from behind her. Sarah turned to see her daughters dressed in their best dresses. She had bought them new clothes for the wedding with her first paycheck from the ranch. "Thank you, sweetheart," Sarah said. "Are you sure you're okay with this?" "We love Jake," Lily said simply, "and we love Tommy. We want to be a real family." Emma nodded. "Jake makes you smile, Mom. You haven't smiled much since Daddy died." Sarah hugged her daughters. They were right. Jake did make her smile. Over the past month, she had found herself looking forward to their conversations and enjoying their time together. The wedding was small and simple. Jake had asked the local minister to perform the ceremony on the ranch. A few neighbors came to witness it, including Ben from the feed store and Mrs. Henderson, who had apologized for being nosy. Sarah wore a simple blue dress that she had bought in town. It wasn't a traditional wedding dress, but it was pretty and made her feel confident. Jake wore his best suit and a string tie. He looked handsome and nervous. Tommy stood beside his father as best man, while Emma and Lily were Sarah's bridesmaids. The children had been excited about the wedding all week, treating it like the best kind of party. "Dearly beloved," the minister began, "we are gathered here today to join Jake Harrison and Sarah Mitchell in marriage." As the minister spoke about love and commitment, Sarah looked at Jake. His eyes were steady and kind, and when he smiled at her, she felt her nervousness fade away. "Do you, Jake, take Sarah to be your wife?" the minister asked. "I do," Jake said firmly. "Do you, Sarah, take Jake to be your husband?" Sarah took a deep breath. "I do." When Jake slipped the simple gold ring onto her finger, Sarah felt something shift inside her. This was real. She was married again, but this time it felt different. It felt right. "You may kiss the bride," the minister said. Jake leaned down and kissed Sarah gently. It was their first kiss, and it was sweet and full of promise. The children cheered, and their neighbors clapped. Mrs. Henderson was crying happy tears. "Welcome to the family," Jake whispered to Sarah. After the ceremony, everyone gathered in the house for cake and coffee. Ben made a toast to the new family, and Mrs. Henderson told Sarah she was lucky to have found such a good man. "I know," Sarah said, looking across the room at Jake, who was helping Tommy cut the cake while Emma and Lily watched eagerly. As the sun began to set, the last guests left. Jake and Sarah stood on the porch, watching the children play in the yard. "How do you feel?" Jake asked. "Different," Sarah said. "But good different. Any regrets?" Jake asked. Sarah thought about it. "No," she said. "I think we made the right choice." Jake nodded. "I think so too." That evening, after the children were in bed, Jake and Sarah sat by the fire as they had done so many nights before. But tonight was different. Tonight they were husband and wife. "What happens now?" Sarah asked. "Now we take it one day at a time," Jake said. "We keep doing what we've been doing. Taking care of the children, working together, building something good. What about—" Sarah paused, feeling shy. "What about us?" "I mean, as husband and wife." Jake understood what she was asking. "We'll take that slow too," he said. "There's no rush. We have time to figure everything out." Sarah felt relieved. She wasn't ready for a physical relationship yet, and Jake seemed to understand that. "Can I ask you something?" Sarah said. "Anything." "Do you think we could really fall in love?" she asked. "I mean, romantic love?" Jake was quiet for a moment. "I think we already have," he said softly. "Maybe not the passionate, crazy kind of love from movies, but the real kind, the kind that lasts." Sarah looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I care about you more than I've cared about anyone since my first wife," Jake said. "I trust you completely. I love spending time with you. I love watching you with the children. I love how you make this house feel like home." Sarah felt tears in her eyes. "I feel the same way about you." "Then maybe we don't need to worry about falling in love," Jake said. "Maybe we already are." The months that followed were the happiest of Sarah's life. She and Jake settled into married life with surprising ease. They shared the housework and childcare. They made decisions together about the ranch and the children. They talked every evening after the kids went to bed. Slowly, their relationship deepened. Jake would put his arm around Sarah when they watched movies. Sarah would kiss his cheek when he did something thoughtful. They held hands when they walked around the ranch together. One evening in early spring, as they watched the sunset from the porch, Jake turned to Sarah. "I have something to tell you," he said. "What is it?" Sarah asked. "I love you," Jake said. "Really love you. Not just as a friend or partner, but as my wife." Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. She had been feeling the same way, but hadn't known how to say it. "I love you too," she said. "I didn't think I could love again, but you showed me I could." Jake kissed her then, a real kiss full of love and promise. Sarah kissed him back, feeling complete for the first time in years. "Look," Tommy called from the yard where he was playing with Emma and Lily. "They're kissing." The children giggled and made silly faces, but they looked happy too. That night, Sarah moved from the guest room into Jake's room. They were truly husband and wife now, in every sense. A year later, Sarah stood in the same spot where she had watched the sunrise on her wedding day. But now she was watching Emma teach Lily how to brush Buddy's mane while Tommy showed them the proper way to hold the brush. Jake came up behind her and put his arms around her. "Happy?" he asked. "Very," Sarah said, leaning back against him. "I never thought I could be this happy. Even though this isn't how you planned your life?" Jake asked as Sarah turned in his arms. "Sometimes the best things in life are the ones we never planned for," she said. "You taught me that." "You taught me something too," Jake said. "What's that?" "That love comes in many forms," Jake said. "And sometimes the quiet kind is the strongest kind of all." Sarah thought about the night when Jake had found them stranded in the storm. She had been scared and desperate, with no idea what the future held. Now she had a husband who loved her, children who were thriving, and a home where she truly belonged. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if our car hadn't broken down that night?" Sarah asked. "No," Jake said firmly. "Because it did break down and it brought you to me? That's all that matters." Sarah smiled. He was right. That stormy night had changed everything. Jake had told her she was coming with him, and by dawn he had taken them home. Not just to his house, but to a life they had built together. "I love you, Jake Harrison," Sarah said. "I love you too, Sarah Harrison," Jake replied. From the yard, they heard the children laughing as they played together. Emma was teaching Lily to whistle like Tommy had taught her. The sound carried on the warm spring air, full of joy and promise. Sarah looked at her family, her husband, her daughters, and the son who had become hers too. They had all found something they hadn't known they were looking for. They had found each other. As Jake had said that first night, things had a way of working out. Sometimes people came into your life when you least expected it and gave you exactly what you needed. Sometimes strangers became family and broken hearts learned to love again. Sometimes a stormy night and a broken-down car could lead to the greatest blessing of all. A home where everyone belonged and love grew stronger every day. The sun was setting over the ranch, painting the sky in brilliant colors. Sarah held Jake's hand and watched their children play, knowing that this was where her story was meant to begin. Not end, but begin. Because the best was yet to come.